Hi guys, welcome back to Defi Daily. Today I want to share with you what is my personal strategy into this market condition. And more specifically, as I was telling you from the title, I want to share with you why I'm quitting certain kind of cryptos. And in order to explain it at best to you, I want to also use what was the ranking 4 years ago into the end of the previous bull market. So I'm referring to the cryptos ranking into the 2018 and how it has changed into this period. Because as you will see, many cryptos that were hyped at that moment simply died. And that's something that we should take in account in order to be prepared on what can happen. I'm not saying that it will happen, but this is a possibility. And the more we are ready to what we can happen and how the market can evolve, also better it is for our strategy, for our portfolio, and for our possibilities to be ready to make the maximum amount of money from the next bull run. Just before to start, guys, remember that if you enjoy this content, a good idea is to subscribe to the channel, to leave a big thumbs up and drop a comment. That's just a small effort for you, but really means a lot to me and also to all the team. Okay, guys, let's start immediately. Remember just that all the content to this channel are educational content and nothing has to be intended as financial advice. Okay, guys, as you can see, this is the ranking right now. As you can see, we have in the first position Bitcoin, after that Ethereum, and so on. I don't know if you have seen this ranking here. It is a snapshot from the 7th of January 2018, so around 4 years and a half ago. And as you can see, what is impressive is that into the first position, yes, we have still Bitcoin. But after that, we have Ripple, after that Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, NAM, Litecoin, Tron, Stellar, Iota, Dash, EOS, Neo, and so on. As you can see, many of them are projects that if we try to find out where is a Ripple right now, it has gone from the 2nd position to just the 7th position. But for example, if we try to make a comparison to where it was a Ripple 4 years ago compared to now, as you can see, it was into the 2nd position. Right now, yes, it is still into the 7th position, but what is really impressive is the market cap. Check it out. Right now, it has something below 20 billion. Not even 4 years ago, it was like 7 times higher. So yes, it's true that at a first look, it looks like that Ripple has maintained its position. The reality is that it has gone through a major process of contraction. And the same applies to all the other cryptos that we are seeing here. For example, Bitcoin Cash were so hyped, but right now nobody cares about it. Same applies to NAM, Litecoin. Stellar hasn't been able to complete its growth. EOS, it was one of the most promising blockchain, but at the end of the story, it ended up with nothing, or at least that's something that is happening until now. We can't predict the future. We can just try to analyze what happened in the past in order to be ready, because yes, we don't know if this process will repeat. What we know is that if it happened in the past, it can happen also in the future. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because, yes, if you try to check, for example, Defi Llama, and I'm using Defi Llama because most of the time we are talking about DeFi into this channel, but the same concept applies to any other kind of industry into the crypto space. And what I want to say is that, as you can see, many of these projects are right now hyped and are dominating the scene right now. The point is that during the bear market, most of the tokens of these protocols are simply bleeding. Their valuation is going down. And you don't have to misunderstand this moment. It's not like just having a discounted price. Remember that many of them will simply die. And that's something that what happened in 2018 is teaching us. If you try to go through this list, you will find projects like BitConnect, that was one of the biggest bubble of the last bull market. If we go even farther, we can find Steem, that was a promising social network, and many other projects. We had Komodo, Electronium, and if you go through all of this list, you will find plenty of projects that right now nobody knows anymore. I don't know, maybe if you have just entered into this market in the last bull run, if you try to go through this list, and I will leave also the link of this list into the description below so you can check it by yourself if you're curious to know which were the projects that were more hyped at that moment if you don't remember them. And if you go through this list, you will find plenty of examples of any kind. As you can see, for example, Aevee was just into the 100 position, and many of them were not at the position that they are right now, also in a positive way, because that's something that we should have really clear in mind. Some of these projects maybe are just in the top 100, in the top 50. Into the next bull run, they can reach much higher positions. For example, we have the case of Binance Coin, BNB, that is probably the greatest one. As you can see, at that point, Binance was just in the 31 position. Right now, Binance, as you can see up here, it is in the 5th position. So yes, we have from the previous bull market, some of them will be the next big gem that will literally explode in terms of valuation. The point is how we can understand it, how we can discover which will be the next big gem. How I will approach this matter. First of all, this is not a time to look for discounted price. Look at this chart. This chart is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. As you can see, we had something like 9 to 10 weeks that were red. And this is something that is important for the simple reason that after a so prolonged period of red, it's quite possible to see a couple of weeks that will be green. It will be like a bounce, a relief bounce. That's something that is normal, and we can expect it. Sooner or later it will happen. We don't know if it will happen this week, the next one, or the next month. That's something that is unpredictable. But what we can expect, what is likely to see, is sooner or later some kind of relief bounce. This bounce is really dangerous for the simple reason that at that point, some kind of hype will come back. And this is something that we have seen also into the previous bull run. If you try to go back in time, for example, here, it is something that happened by the beginning of May, something that happened again into 2019. The point is that a simple bounce doesn't mean that the price of all the cryptos will go up again, reaching again new all-time high. As we have seen from this chart, many of these cryptos never reached again a new all-time high, and that's something that is quite impressive from some of them that has been below the previous all-time high by something like 60%. So for this reason, guys, remember, this bounce, it's not the beginning of a new rally to a new all-time high. This is the moment to slow down and to be aware that most of the cryptos that we are loving, for example, all of these cryptos from all of these DeFi protocols, they will die. Not because they are bad, not because the projects are not good enough, but for the simple reason that's how the market is working. In order to have a growth, many of them will stop, will fail, and new projects will come. So in this moment, what is really important is to just calm and try to understand what are the fundamentals and how the industry is evolving in order to try to understand what the next big trend will be. And it could be in a couple of months or, for example, in 1 year or 2 years. The length of this bear market is what will make the difference, because if the bear market will last just a couple of months, the probability to see some of these projects surviving, it is much higher. But remember, the longer this bear market will last, the more difficulties these projects will have, and the higher will be the probability for them to fail. And again, not because they are bad projects, but because that's the nature of the market. So guys, Pay attention, don't go all in. We have seen plenty of projects that has been able to pump so much. For example, here we are having the case of DeFi Kingdom. That is probably one of the most incredible case of the last couple of months. We had a project that reached almost 1 billion of total value locked, but after that has a decline, reaching right now around 30 million. But what is even more impressive is this chart here, the token inflows. That's the reason why I have just take out my face just to show you this chart. As you can see, the total value locked has declined, as you can see it from here, not because there has been some kind of outflows. Outflows are all the movement, all the bars that you can see below the zero into this chart. We hadn't this kind of outflows. And the reason because the total value locked inside DeFi Kingdom has gone down is because the price of this token has gone down dramatically. In the case of Jewel, the token of DeFi Kingdom, the price has gone down by around 98%. And what is even more worrying is that the Bitcoin hasn't yet reached a bottom, so the price of Jewel can go down even more. In any case, nothing against the DeFi Kingdoms, that they are doing a great job. They have also keep developing even into this market condition. It is quite difficult. They are planning a new release, and maybe they will have the opportunity to reach again new all-time highs. The reason why I'm showing you this chart is just to show you how just in a few months everything can change. Not even a couple of months ago, DeFi Kingdom was one of the most hyped projects. Right now it is down by 98%. So guys, don't tape in, don't look for these prices as a discounted price, but be aware that everything can change. Until a couple of months ago, we still had the feeling, the hope that this correction were just a correction and not a bear market. Right now, unfortunately, it looks like a bear market, and this bear market can change. A bear market can change everything exactly as we have seen from the previous one. What I will do, I will simply quit most of my positions that are on altcoins, and in order to do it, I will simply wait for the next relief bounce. I don't know when it will happen. What I will do is simply waiting for a couple of weeks that will be green. At that point, I will linearly decreasing my exposure to the different kind of DeFi tokens, for the simple reason that yes, I'm still believing that most of them are having great fundamentals, but the reality is that in this market condition, everything is changing so fast that even the most solid project can fail. I want to just remember you the story of Iota or EOS. Both of them were projects that were so promising at that point. Everyone was talking about them as one of the greatest projects that can literally change the market. The reality is that both of them, if we try to check Iota, as you can see, Iota right now is just in the 65 position with a market cap that is much lower than what we had at that point. At that point, we had a market cap of 11 billion. Right now, we have just one, so a reduction of 90%. Same story applies for EOS. EOS were one of the greatest one. It was growing, and right now, EOS is in the 51 position, and nobody cares anymore about EOS. It's like, again, another 90% down. That's just a demonstration that the market can change so fast. Maybe EOS or Iota will have another big pump into the next bull run. Yes, that's a possibility. We are not here to predict the future. We are just here to learn from the past in order to decrease, to manage our risk, and to improve our ability to reach and to grow our portfolio. Guys, let me know what do you think, what is your strategy at this point. Let me know if you were expecting that all of these tokens from the 2018 were simply dumping or dying as it happened into this bull run. Let me know if you were into the 2017-18 into the market, and how do you feel after so long time. Guys, remember, if you enjoy this content, remember to leave a big thumbs up, drop a comment, and I will see you tomorrow in another video. Bye, guys.